Jew of Oklahoma, and he's amazing, and you're just gonna love. He's got an amazing story, all of his songs, and he's been my hero for many, many years, and my husband Randy too. We finally got to bring him out here, and I know you're going to enjoy him as much as we do. So, Mark Rubin. Thank you.
Oh man. Oh man, what a pleasure and a privilege to be with you. And yes, I just want to let you know they went through a lot of machinations to get me to come here, friends. I don't know if you have any equivalent here in New Mexico to what we have in New Orleans, what we call carnival. But it's carnival season in New Orleans, and it's difficult to get anybody, a New Orleanian, out of town. I'm missing the parades tonight, so that's okay. I came for you. I came for you, and that's all right. I'm happy to do it too. So I'm gonna play. My friends tell me I talk too much, and you're gonna find out that I do. I'm a little verbose. My name is Mark Rubin. I'm from Stillwater, Oklahoma. So the name of my act is The Jew of Oklahoma. Yes, they were happy to see me go. So here's a little. I got a couple tunes. Like I say, my friends tell me I talk too much. So here's a couple tunes by means of introduction. So I feel a lot of people know me as a bass player, as a guy who works in other people's bands. So it's a little naked being up here because I didn't get in this to play all by myself. It's always so much better when there's somebody else. Lots of guys I know real well, they can pull it down by the shelf. But I'll confide, I'm terrified to play all by myself. Singer-songwriters are uniformly jerks, you know it's true. They're conceited loners with detestable quirks. Oh, how they do annoy me. Well, they all bring me to tears. But a recent cost analysis says alone that I'll be here. But now that I'm among them, you know, I guess I gotta eat a little crow. You know, we're actually warrior poets, just like troubadours of old. And since the time of Ovid, this truth I shall tell. People, they like a good story, and they like it told real well. Yodeloo, 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 yodeloo. Yodeloo, 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 yee-hee-hee. Well, I'm sitting here tonight along with my song. You know, my picking is just about all right, but oftentimes wrong. But lots of friends of mine can pull it down off the shelf. But I'll confide, I'm terrified to play all by myself. Yodeloo, 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 yodeloo. Now this one's off my second record, and I like to play it. I like to play it early in the set, because I like to run them off as soon as I can. This is what it's like growing up Jewish in Oklahoma, all right? This is called Southern Jews is Good News. And it comes from the line comes from a great country comedian by the name of Brother Dave Garner. Anybody old enough or from the South? Brother, rejoice, dear hearts, right? Well, he was one of the original Southern comedians, and he had this great routine called The Great Religions of the World, where he would talk about the Baptists and the Methodists and the Catholics and make fun of them, poke a little fun at them. And then he talked about the Jews. And he would go, now, dear hearts, the Jews, and he'd let that just hang in the air for a little bit. Silence. Now, don't get me wrong, dear hearts, Southern Jews is good news. It's just them Yankees I'm worried about. So that kind of puts a bow on it for you. So that's where I got the idea. And then also, towards the end of this song is maybe a little coarse language, but I want to let you know that it was a phrase that my father taught me to use whenever I was peculiarly challenged in a particular way. So that's the context of the song. Please bear in mind. So a Southern Jew's a good news baby. Well, a Southern Jew's is a damn good news. Well, Southern Jew's a good news baby. Well, it's just them Yankees I'm worried about. You got them Jews down in Oklahoma. That's the average landsman. You got them down in Tennessee, down in Mississippi, down in sunny old Alabama. Heck yes, I say, Kamaxa Shyness Lead. Is this to you great news? 'Cause New York City is a mighty exotic to a Southern Jew. You know, we're only in the agribusiness, just like Tevye milking cows. You can pick out farm out from the rest by the absence of any sound. You know, our Yankee kin's poor manners we often must excuse. Ain't no pigs in our poke, no, we ain't no joke. We're the down-home Southern Jew. True story. We take our bacon off of our cheeseburgers and we greet you, howdy y'all. You know, we drive to shul on Shabbos in a best-dressed overall. We're famous for our barbecue. It's kosher beef, so you can't refuse. Got a trucker cap for my keeper. It's the stramel of the Southern Jew. Said now, Southern Jews are good news, baby. Well, Southern Jews is a damn good news. Well, Southern Jews are good news, baby. Well, it's just them Yankees I'm worried about. Doo-dee-doodle-doo-doodle-doo-doo. Some folks down here say we pass for white. At least they ain't black. Well, that might be true for some down here, but you always gotta watch your back. True, our skin tone gives us much relief. Some days we get to choose. You gotta navigate your privilege when you live as a Southern Jew. Let me tell you about Judah Benjamin. He was a Confederate Secretary of State. On that particular side, friends, we lined up on the side of hate. Well, in that war of northern aggression, y'all might think you got a higher score. But if you look down south today, you gotta say y'all sure enough lost that war. Did we kill your Lord? Heck yes we did. Bring him back and we'll kill him again. And the good old boys all belly laugh, 'cause we're all the best of friends. Well, that sort of talk might shock you. In fact, it might confuse, but it's source like this all the livelong day when you live as a Southern Jew. Now, Southern Jews are good news, baby. Well, Southern Jews is a damn good news. Well, Southern Jews are good news, baby. Well, it's just them Yankees I'm worried about. Doo-dee-doodle-doo-doodle-doo-doo. Thank you kindly. I released a new record just recently called The Triumph of Assimilation. I'm really, really proud of it, and I hope that you enjoy the tunes off it. Thank you. It debuted at number 14 on the Billboard Bluegrass charts. How that is possible is beyond my comprehension. Thank you very kindly. I do believe that's the first time an Avinu Malkeinu has been on the Billboard Bluegrass charts. So it's a milestone of some kind. I don't know. Slipped one in on him. But the record was inspired by the poetry of a Polish Yiddish poet by the name of Mordecai Gabbertig. Does anybody know Mordecai Gabbertig? Thank you. If you don't, good time to get the old Google out and check him out. One of the reasons why I was drawn to his poetry was because he was operating in Poland in the 1930s. And what did he talk about? He talked about the encroachment of fascism and anti-Semitism. Yeah. So his messages, I felt, were, how shall we say, prescient. and that they were messages that I felt that a lot of people should hear. And a lot of these tunes are very well known in the Yiddish-speaking community and in the Klezmer community, but they're not so well known outside, especially in the further Jewish community, because a lot of American Jews don't speak Yiddish, Ashanda. They mostly speak English. So the idea was, let's maybe get some of these songs in the English format and try and get those ideas out. So I've taken several poems from this poet and kind of not made slavish translations, but kind of transadaptations of his poems. I'm going to sing you one right now. This is right from the beginning of the record. It's called A Tug von Nechama. Anybody know what that means? A Day for Revenge, written in 1940. Listen close to what I say. There'll come a time, there'll be a day, and though it seems so far away, I promise that we'll make them pay. There'll be revenge for the suffering and pain, revenge for those who still remain. Oh, that day will come along when we right each every wrong. There'll be revenge for the widow orphans, it must suffice, for the millions blood sin sacrificed. Our prophets cry out for us to awake, for retribution so shall we take. We'll have our revenge for the suffering and pain, revenge for those who still remain. Oh, that day will come along when we right each every wrong. There'll be revenge. Oh, humankind will turn its back on war. I can see it clear on a distant shore. It comes to us like Noah's dove, a message of kindness, peace, and love. That's our revenge for the suffering and pain, revenge for those who still remain. Oh, that day will come along now when we right each every wrong. That's our revenge. I'll sing another one from Gilberto. This one was written, it's pretty well known. I recorded it 20 years ago with a little klezmer band lineup. Should have tuned this up when I was backstage. And in the Yiddish, and it's the song was about the destruction of about a pogrom in a small shtetl in Poland, and this was written to commemorate that. And the point of the poem was, it's called Es Brent. So many of you may be familiar with it. And in the poem he says, Nebech is Brent, you idiots. Everything around us is burning. The shtetl is burning. He didn't mean the shtetl. He meant more than that. And something about the idea of this song about the death of a shtetl reminded me of, in the American music that I was raised with, there's this concept called a murder ballad. And so I will sing you a murder ballad about the murder of the shtetl and a cry for action. Said it's burning, yes, it's burning. Everywhere it's burning round, but your arms are crossed and you're staring down. It's burning. Said it's burning, yes, it's burning. Pick up a bucket, you whole damn fool. Pick up a bucket, you got the tools. It's burning. Well, they're going around taking names, putting every home to the flames. It's burning. And if there was any doubt, there ain't no fireman to put it out. It's burning. Well, the flames have swallowed up our town, but your arms are crossed and you're staring down. It's burning. Well, there ain't no rain, there ain't no flood. We'll quench these flames with our blood. It's burning. Said it's burning, yes, it's burning. Everywhere it's burning down, but your arms are crossed and you're staring down. It's burning. Said it's burning, yes, it's burning. Pick up a bucket, you whole damn fool. Pick up a bucket, you got the tools. It's burning. Thank you very much. Well, not to be the Debbie Downer all the time. That's the other thing my friends say. Besides talking too much. Besides just the American music I was raised with, a lot of folks know that I also play a lot of Jewish music, which is what I've been coming here to teach, which I'll be doing all day tomorrow. Had a great bunch of fun teaching some music today. Thank you very much for my students. Y'all are great. Y'all are great. So I'm going to sing you a song right now about the daunting impossibility of keeping kosher in Oklahoma. My family really tried. We really tried. Gave it a go. But you know, trying to get back in the '60s, the only place you could get your beef was from Chicago, and it came on the bus. And those butchers didn't have to give you the best; they just had to give you kosher. So it was expensive and it was hard to keep up, and so we just finally gave up. So, like I say, my dad used to say, Oklahoma kosher was taking the bacon off the cheeseburger. And thank you. I make that joke in front of Anglo audiences, and they just don't. It doesn't. I just ask your Jewish friend, I say, you know. So there, a lot of the lines in this tune are from my actual life, but the tune is one of the few tunes I take from the Jewish repertoire, and I thought it was really important. The tune is called the Breuger's Tanz, which is a dance, a ritual dance that you have at a wedding, where you take the two mother-in-laws and you get them to dance out their problems ritually. It's called the dance of anger and reconciliation. So I called my song Down South Kosher a dance of hunger and reconciliation. Dyed, fried, laid to the side, keeps the southern belly well satisfied. But if you're gonna stay Jewish, well, it best suffice to see bacon as a candy and hammock as a spice. Tell me, Mrs. Cohen, why is it chewing so nice? I use bacon as a garnish and hammock as a spice. If you're gonna keep kosher, better work real hard, 'cause everything here got a little coat of lard. Make accommodations when you live in the South. Don't ask too many questions about what goes in your mouth. You wanna get along, you don't get along. So eat that crawfish and eat my little song. Can't find a bagel worth a tinker's dam, not in the land of the glazed country ham. And the church picnic may be the only meal, so let's not call them pink, for it's only pink veal. Tell me, Mr. Katz, why you like us so fine? I use lard instead of schmaltz, and I do it all the time. If you're gonna keep kosher at the end of your fork, best to close your eyes and pray and ain't porking. If you're gonna stay Jewish, well, it best suffice. See bacon as a garnish, hammock as a spice. Thank you, thank you. These are all tunes from my record. It's kind of weird. There's this weird Bashert thing that happened in my life. This record came out on June 1st, and there's this place I work at called the Museum of the Southern Jewish Experience, which I'd like you to check out online. And if you get to New Orleans, I'd like you to come see. That museum opened up on May 27th, and I started to go work there. And one of the exhibits is on the impossibility of keeping kosher in the South. It's kind of Bashert. But you know what else they have? They also have another exhibit that relates to one of the tunes on my record, and that is the story of Leo Frank. Anybody hip? Leo Frank? Okay. I'm not going to tell you the whole story of Leo Frank, but I am going to tell you a little bit. Ready? Story has to tell. I'll sing today of Leo Frank. It's a tale not known so well. Well, you might have heard the ballad, or you might have sung the song about how poor little Mary Fagan and how it was that she was wrong. Well, my story's not about the crime, nor about the so-called trial, where Leo Frank the innocent was found guilty and given time. Leo Frank's been gone, but his memory lingers on. Convicted by all press accounts, railroaded by the court, thousands came from all around for Frank's life to make sport. And out on the courthouse steps, old John Carson could be heard, making songs right upon the spot for the thousands gathered there. He sang, "Let's hang that little Jew. Let's hang that little Jew." He sang, "Let's hang that little Jew. Come on, let's hang that little Jew." It was the 17th of August. It was on that fateful day, 6 cars filled up with angry men to the Smithville prison lane, where they drained the gas tanks of the cops, cut down the telephone wires, and cuffed the friendly
warden, and with Frank they bid goodbye. It was out in Marietta, at a spot did they prepare. Well, there's an old oak tree and a length of rope and a rickety old chair. Bill Frank's been gone, but his memory lingers on. And when the killing had been done, all the men they gathered round to get a picture of themselves with Frank's body dangling down. There were prominent politicians, sheriffs, policemen too, well, the captains of local industry and the founder of the local scout troop. We're the Knights of Mary Fagan, all the Klezmen cried with glee, learned to cross on Old Stone Mountain for all the world to see. They sang, we hung that little Jew. Oh, we hung that little Jew. Yeah, we hung that little Jew. Well, they hung that little Jew. Well, the Jews of old Atlanta, well, they thought they'd had it made. But now hundreds fled old Georgia for the safety of a northern state. There'll be no menorah in your window, no more sukkah built outside. Thems that did not leave right out learned to hide it. They learned to hide it deep. Deep down inside. Your Frank's been gone, but his memory lingers on. For little Mary Fagan song, John Carson can we thank. But next time you're at services, say a Kaddish for Leo Frank. A little bit of history there. Worth investigating, worth investigating. All right, everybody having a good time thus far? Let me get out my little black book. I forgot what I was going to play next. These are all tunes from my record, Triumph of Assimilation. I have brought copies because some people actually use CDs. I've found this is very strange. They use CDs, so I have brought hard copy CDs. If you, oh, just dropped my pick. Holy cow. You are so kind. Thank you so much. Very kind. What was I going to play now? Oh, fun. Fun. I've made myself happy. It's happened so few. So, hey, Jordan. See you, man. Thanks for making me drive. Let's talk about the banjo for a second. There are probably no more instruments in America that are as colonized and appropriated than the banjo, because the banjo comes to us from enslaved African people who brought calabash instruments and three-stringed calabash gourd instruments with them, or in some cases remembered instruments that they played in Africa, and then found ways to adapt them to things that they found when they were here. And then, you know, kind of came up with their own kind of music with it. And then a lot of American folks, primarily Irish American, poor Irish American folks who were around African American folks, started adapting them to their music. And so then the industrial age came along, and then they started mass producing them, and Anglo-Americans started coming up with their own kind of music. And so all kinds of folks kind of appropriated this African-American instrument and coming up with all kind of different ways to play it. And one of the things that I thought about, because for instance, I got a banjo for my bar mitzvah, for instance. So banjo's been kind of in my life for a while. I didn't pick it up. I ended up being a bass player in the bluegrass band because I couldn't figure out what they did this three-finger thing. It really couldn't figure out when I was a kid, but I ended up playing bass. But the banjo's been a big part of my life. And I couldn't square how to express my Jewish heritage in a way that seemed natural to my Southern upbringing. And there were so many Jewish musicians who had become so expert at other people's traditions and on these colonized instruments, you know, but they never thought about doing it on their own instrument. It was kind of strange. So hence I kind of like came up with this idea. What would happen if instead of Irish American people appropriating this African American instrument, it was Jewish American people doing it and taking their own melodies and their own point of view on the instrument? And so hence I will play you a suite of Jewish banjo pieces. The first one is, these are all tunes that I've learned in my days as a Jewish musician. The first one is a jock, and if anybody feels like dancing, where's Bruce? Yeah, if anybody feels like dancing, feel free. First is a jock, then I'm going to play you a couple tunes that I learned. I learned from Elaine Hoffman Watts from the Philadelphia repertoire. I'm going to play another one that I learned from Abe Schwartz, and then I'm going to play you another one which is a little faster. It's a little Freilach that I learned when I was playing with a guy named Sidney Beckerman. So I'm going to attempt. So in other words, trying to meld these two traditions, the bifractal traditions that I was raised with. So we're going to start with a hora.
Dancers? Never done that in my life. Wow. There's a saying back home, thank you, dancers. Thank you so much. That made me so happy. I have never done that before in my life. In my life. Thank you so much. That was worth coming all together. That was worth coming all together right there. All right. Okay. So let's see. Am I gonna do this? Let's see if I'm gonna do this. What key am I gonna do this in? So some folks for many, many years, starting back in 1996, I used to work at a place called Living Traditions Klezmerquerque. And thank you. It was a place, it was the only place, let's be honest. It was the only place that you could go where they would take the old people who grew up playing Jewish music. Man, you gave me my pick back and I don't know what I did with it. No, there it is. The only place you could actually go, I mean, if you were, let's say you're an Irish fiddler and you want to learn more about Irish fiddling, you could just get you on a plane, go to County Cork, go hang out in some pub, go hang out, get your fiddle out, learn a little bow, have an old man sit down and go, here, let me show me something. It's a living tradition. No big deal. Go see it. Guess what? We don't have that. We just don't have that. We can go into all the various reasons why that's the case. There's 3, but we don't need to go into them here. They're all pretty obvious. You know, that's why I named my record The Triumph of Assimilation, for instance. But this thing, Living Traditions Klezmerquerque, worked real hard to bring younger people like myself and put them in the presence of the old masters. And it wasn't just learning from them on stage. It was like hanging out with them and hearing what they had to say. I mean, and like living with them and being with them and eating with them and hearing their stories and hearing the Yiddish, hearing the way they spoke and the way they played. Then also running into people and finding people in the hallway and then having them tell their stories. This is belabored, but I'm going to tell this story because it's a good one. So in 1998, I meet this family who tell me they see that I'm playing mandolin and they go, do you want to meet our grandfather? He's a Loge Partisaner survivor and he plays the mandolin. And I'm like, holy cow, the opportunity to be introduced to somebody like this. Now, here's the deal. I don't remember his name. Young guy, things are just passing by me. I didn't write it down. I did, however, record him. And went in. My girlfriend at the time spoke Yiddish. He spoke Yiddish and Russian. And we interviewed him and had this long talk. Taught me a lot about the approach to Jewish mandolin, how it's played. He told me all about his story, about being a kid in Lodz, how he survived, how he fought out in the forests, how they weren't hiding from the Nazis, they were hiding from the Ukrainians. That's another story. But he sat down and he taught me a song. And it's actually a beautiful, beautiful song. It's called Wie ist du Geselle, which means where is my home? And it's from a Ukrainian melodrama that was very, very popular in the early 30s. And it's one of those melodramas about, oh, you can't go home again. It's about a man who leaves his village and then goes to town and wants to come back, the big man, but he doesn't recognize anybody when he gets there. Well, for Jewish people, this is not existential. This is real. So he taught me this wonderful song, and I learned it on the mandolin and everything. But and then I always kept it in the back of my head. And then when I was in Slovakia with Frank London's Klezmer All-Stars, I went looking for a very famous synagogue. I always went looking for synagogues in Jewish life whenever I was in Eastern Europe. There's a disappointment. So I was in Trenčín, Slovakia, which had one of the largest, a third of the city of Trenčín was Jewish until the Shoah. And there was a huge, they called it the Bialy synagogue. It was this beautiful, beautiful synagogue, huge. And I went to go see it, and I had an experience. And so I've knitted this song into my experiences there in Slovakia, along with this song that the old Lodz partisaner taught me. This is kind of my gig. So this is Wie ist das Geselle. Wie ist das Geselle, wie ist das Stief, wie ist das Mädele, femin chabli. What is das Geselle, what is das Stief, what is das Mädele, femin chabli. And here's the translation. Where are those streets and those alleys I've roamed? Where is that sweet gal, and where went her home? There's no more streets now, no homes you can go. That gal, she don't live here no more. Here's my experience. The plaque on the wall says this once was a shul, abandoned and empty, it once was a jewel. But the locals pay no mind, and most did not know. It's kept for the tourists, but only just so. And where are the Chassids and their Beit Midrash? The Schneider, the Shotkin, the Mashkimash, where you won't find the pious, nor Ryan the cask, nor Taylor matchmaker, they've all gone to ash. And where are the rabbis and the Heron Kodesh, the Torah, the Shamas, the Bima, the rest? You won't find the rabbis, the Torah's all burnt. For once there were Jews here, and now there aren't. Debbie down. Oh, yeah, okay. So who remembers the halcyon days of 2008 when everybody lost their house?
Remember? I did. Yeah, I was one of those guys, got upside down. Got to buy a house, got to buy a house. Everybody should buy a house. Yeah, I got upside down and lost the house. And got it back just in time for my ex-wife to divorce me and get it. There's a saying in Texas, tornadoes and divorces have a lot in common. Some old cowboy's going to lose a house. So this is people ask me how I ended up in New Orleans, and this is how. True story. Well, my boss man called me up the other day. He had to take another key off my keychain. Really hard for me to have to say, I gotta take another key off your keychain. Well, you've been downsized and all your crap is in a box. Take another key off your keychain. Well, we're not writing recommendations. Goodbye and good luck. Take another key off the keychain. I had a keychain, a keychain. They used to open lots of doors, but now they don't do that no more. Keychain, keychain. But now I live in a box. Well, the repo man, he cornered me today. He took another key off the keychain. It was a mighty fine ride, but he's hauling it away. Take another key off the keychain. Well, you made good payments, but you got behind. Take another key off the keychain. Put your keys on that dash if you'd be so kind. Take another key off the keychain. I had a keychain, keychain. They used to open lots of doors, but now they don't do that no more. Keychain, keychain. And now I'm presented with locks. Now, friends and neighbors, you might think that this fella up here is doing some kind of songwritery thing, that he's like telling the story about some fella that he read about, or maybe he was at a bar and there was some guy going on about some terrible thing that had happened to him. But as God is my witness here in this synagogue, I will tell you that this is my life story. That my note was held by a company run by a bunch of Mormons in Utah. So I really dreaded every time that phone would have a Utah thing on there. And there it came. Oh boy, Salt Lake City it said on there. Here it came. Well, that's right. Well, the mortgage gal, she got me on the phone. She took another key off the keychain. She says, Mr. Rubin, you don't make enough for to carry this loan. Now take another key off the keychain. Well, the sheriff's down there and all your crap is in the yard. Take another key off the keychain. Well, that year there were over 10 million foreclosures. Don't take it so hard, taking the key off the keychain. And I had a keychain, keychain. They used to open lots of doors, but now they don't do that no more. Keychain, keychain. And now I live in a brown paper box. It is not a happy ending. Oh, hey, look, I just bought a house. I'm back. 2008 to now. That's how long it took. That's how long it took to crawl my way back. But thank you. Let me look at my, right, so any comments, concerns? I like to open up the floor now, by the way, just so anyways, you can do you can buy a CD later if you like. I would like you to make donations to this synagogue and these people who are amazing. The services last night were like awe-inspiring. It was incredible. Yeah, I'm going to sing you some more songs from my record, Songs for the Hangman's Daughter. Yeah, I'll sing you the song. I'll sing you the song that's about. I did mention that I teach Yiddish music and culture to folks, which you might find that to be strange. A fella born and raised in Stillwater, Oklahoma, right? Now, why would that be? There's a story. Now, see, I was born and raised in cowboy country, and the first music that I was introduced to was the square dance music that my parents used to dance to every Thursday with a live band. Banjo and fiddle, guitar and bass. Breakdown music was what we call it back home, or breakdown fiddle music. And bluegrass music and gospel music and country music is the stuff that my parents danced to, and it was on the radio. It is the music of my nurture. It is the music that I identify with. It is the music of my culture, right? Now, that's music that I played. I'm also played a lot of punk rock music too, so that's enough. That's also my culture too. But I was raised in that environment. Now, being Jewish in those spaces never seemed to be a problem. Essentially because I was the bass player, and I was not like I was going to be out front or everything, but they needed a bass player really badly. So I was utilitarian, so it never seemed to be a problem. Until it was. In 1998, I had a group called Bad Livers, and we were on a major bluegrass record label, and we were label mates with a lot of famous bluegrass bands. And so they were friends of ours. One in particular is a fellow named Del McCory. Does anybody know that? Del McCory. Stop clapping after you hear this story. I was on his tour bus, and my band Bad Livers was kind of winding down. We weren't playing so many dates. We're only playing a handful of dates out of the year. And I was thinking maybe I could move up to Nashville and finally, little country boy, right? Go to Nashville, go to the big lights in Nashville, and go play bluegrass music with the big boys up there, and finally break into the Nashville market and play with the big boys. And I said, "Hey, Dale," I'm sitting on his tour bus, literally sitting next to me, like right here. And I figure if I'm going to ask anybody if I've got an in on the scene, well, hey Dale, I'm thinking about leaving Texas and moving up here. And I said, try and make it go playing bass and bluegrass music. And then you could have heard a pin drop on that bus. And to quote Tom Waits, I go, "What's the matter? Did I say something wrong?" I looked around and I go, "Boys, what's going on?" And Dale turns to me and he goes, "Well, Mark, we already have a Jewish bass player in Nashville." Now I said, in a friendly sort of way, "Now, Dale, are you telling me what I think you're telling me?" And he put his hand on my shoulder and he said, "Mark, we hire out of the church parking lot. I don't think we'll see you there." Now, Dale's my friend, still is. I just think he was reporting. I don't think he's an anti-Semite. I think he's a product of an anti-Semitic system, I think is what's going on. So that door slammed shut. My nature ended my nurture. So all of a sudden, just because I was Jewish, German concert promoters would hire me to come and play klezmer music, even though I had never heard it growing up and was not exposed to it until my late 20s. Just chew on that for a little bit. So only because I was Jewish was I qualified to then go be a Jewish museum, oh, there's a slip, a Jewish musician in Europe. So what was beautiful is that right at about the same time Del McCory told me that door was shut, I got a phone call from a guy named Henry Sapoznik. And Henry Sapoznik opened up a door up wide. He was a big fan of my work in country music because he was a country musician himself when he was a kid. A damn fine one, too, right? And he said, hey, man, we could use you. Come on home. Come on home. Like, you are welcome here. And guess what I saw? When I came to Klezmerquerque, I saw on stage, I saw 50% women. And I saw at least 15% LGBT people open. That in 1998, that's what I saw. I was introduced to transgendered people in 1999 at Klezmerquerque. Like, this represented the real world to me. And I said, obviously, my nature, I will now know more about it, and I will nurture myself in my nature. So it took a lot of time. It took a lot of hard study, and now I've gotten to the point of where I have been now out, and I'm known as an educator teaching folks. But you know what was weird is that, like I said, those German folks, it's the Germans, the Austrians, and the Poles. Those were the people who were interested in our music. The Jews around here, not so much. I'm talking about in the late 90s, early 2000s. We had to go to go teach people. We had to go over there. And look, we had to have painful conversations with people when the clarinetist I'm teaching tells me about her SS family. And so you got to think, you got to wonder about the motivations of some of these people that you're teaching, and you got to, like, what's going on? And friends and neighbors, this weighs on you. There's a cost. You know, I'm giving these people something. You know, I'm giving something of myself. Little piece of myself gets left behind. Right? But then, these are not those people. Right? So, it's nuanced. It's hard. So, I sing a song for the hangman's daughter. So I'll teach the hangman's daughter to sing my family song. For if not this hangman's daughter, who will sing along? There's no one left alive today to sing these melodies. It's just this hangman's daughter now, and she will sing with me. We sing, die, 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 ya, bye, bye. Die, 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 ya, bye, bye. Die, ya, bye, bye, die, 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 die. Well, I've gone across the to see what has been done. But there's nothing left to see there now after all that has been done. And the very few who persevere, they sing a brand new song. But I only know the old one, and the new one sounds so wrong. I sing, die, 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 yabba-bye. Die, 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 yabba-bye. Die, yabba-bye, die, 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 die. Well, that hangman was our neighbor, and we used to get along. We tried our best to fit right in. We even learned all his songs. But that neighbor is a hangman now, and he hums a new refrain. His marching band may drown us out, but our song stays the same. We sing, die, 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 yabba-bye. Bye, die, 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 yabba-bye, die, yabba-bye, die, die, da, die, da, die, da, die, die, die. So I'll teach this hangman's daughter to sing my family song. For if not this guileless child, sing along, there's no one left alive today to sing these melodies. It's just the hangman's daughter now, but won't you sing with me? We sing, die, 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 yabba-bye. Die, 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 yabba-bye. Die, da, 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 da. Die, 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 yabba-bye. Die, 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 yada-die. Die, da, 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 die, da, da, die, da, die, da, die, die, die. Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right. Okay. Cannabis. Write what you know. Let me just ask a question. Medical, right? Here in New Mexico? Recreational. I see a trip in my future. I should say I'm bipolar, which is something I think, I think it's important those of us who have mental health issues are upfront and straightforward about it. And I tend to find that a little bit of the cannabis works very well to curb my manias, which I tend to fly off in and every now and again. Tend to get a little over chatty and take over the room, and I found that if I can just, hammer myself down a little bit, then I can be a little more sociable and not take over. It's not every day people are staring at me and I have a microphone. So a lot of, cannabis in Louisiana, on the other hand, is another story. I'm going to sing you a couple songs here. I don't know if you know a guy named Frank London. I did a tour with him and then came back addicted. But I'll tell you this right now. I made cannabis a decision in my 30s, and so so it was an adult decision and everything. So, but I think when I sing these songs, people think that I'm talking about them in a joyful way, but I'm not. I'm going to skip that entirely. I'll skip that entirely as I think about it. There's a guy my age. I'm 56 years old. There's a guy, and his name is Bernard Tovey, and I think about him a lot because here we are smoking recreational cannabis here in New Mexico. Bernard Tovey was sitting on his porch in New Orleans East, and a cop pulled up on him and hassled him for no good reason, and found 2 joints in his pocket, and that was his 3rd strike. He had one when he was 17, one when he was 19. Then he's 56, he had his 3rd strike. He's in jail for 35 years. Now that's not it. That's not the worst of it. They sent him, the way the system works is they sent him off to Plaquemines Parish, and they put him in the Plaquemines Parish jail. And in the Plaquemines Parish jail, they get $110,000 a year from Orleans Parish to house him. As it turns out, the sheriff of Plaquemines Parish, his uncle, owns the private prison of Plaquemines Parish. So, do we have to talk about what ethnicity Bernard is? Okay. Slavery still exists in this country, and it's very, very active, especially in the state of Louisiana. So, this is for him and all the guys my age who are doing long term. Now when I was a young man, you tempted fate just to get yourself high, and you hid it good from everyone that you knew. From the cops you were terrified, but they got all kinds of smoke now, just not the Acapulco gold of yore. But in cash-strapped states around the nation, they gave up on that drug war. Well, it's hard for me to realize this change up in attitude. Today it's like the medicine prescribed to change your mood. But it wasn't that long ago, friends, and to illustrate my point, where your life was literally ended if you're caught poor with a single joint. Well, it was single joint, that was all he had, but they ruined his life for good. But the ugly truth is the ugly truth. He's from the poor neighborhood, where the rich boy, well, he can do as he likes, 'cause to the cops it's well understood. But with a single joint and a being poor, well, they can ruin your life for good. True story. I got friends up in Oklahoma sitting in a prison cell today for being the wrong skin color and caught a judge they could not sway. Well, can you imagine how they feel now to see the same joint legal today? And the rich boy's making money with his new dispensary. Well, there's far too many families once strong but broken apart. And the judges fill up those prisons. Private sector takes them a la carte. Well, your overworked offender, he was not much help. And alone in the court you stood with a single joint and 3 strikes out. Well, they can ruin your life for good. I said with a single joint and 3 strikes out. Well, they can ruin, they can, yes sir, well they can ruin. They'll do it too. Now, a lot of people ask me, Mark, you've played in a lot of different cultures. I've produced records for Santiago Jimenez of Tex-Mex music and of Czech orchestras in Texas and Polish fiddle bands in Texas. And I worked with Cajun groups in South Louisiana, and I'm working with black music groups in New Orleans now, and I've worked with Romani musicians over there in Eastern Europe, and I've worked with white folks, playing white folks music, and people ask me, like, how is it that I'm able to skip across all of these genres? But I don't call them genres, they're cultures. Like, how am I able to, like, operate in all these cultures and do it so seamlessly? And I think it's because when I was a kid, there weren't a whole lot of Jewish people to cleave with. So my dad said, go find those folks in town that the white folks are hassling and go hang out with them. They've got the best music and the best dance, right? They have the best food and the best music. So go find the people who the white folks are hassling, and that's who to hang out with. And so and then his whole thing was just observe how people are, and then just use good manners. Just observe and use just basic good manners. Treat people the way you'd want to be treated. Just watch stuff go on. And so people ask me about this question called a cultural appropriation. And I just think I'm just sick and tired of hearing about these words, and I'm sick and tired about hearing these conversations. And so people come to me with these all the time, and I have rather strong opinions about them, so I'm done with my strong opinions, and I just put it into a song. I knew a Zulu drumming master with complexion alabaster, made his living teaching African percussion. Well, he studied every beat, but he will beat a quick retreat if you wish to challenge his appropriation. Seems that it can be a shock if someone says no. There seems to be a fad amongst the money college grads to emulate the lives of southern poor folks. With their banjos in their boots and hipster honky-tonks they scoot, emulating folks they just don't much care for. In college, there's not a course on no. Seems to be a strange fascination with the gals across the nation to claim to be a Cherokee princess. Crown of feathers on their head, they think the native's safely dead, but the trail of tears their family never dealt with. From the Reds, I heard a buffalo moan out, no. Have you ever heard a no? Found no place you cannot go. Is everything you found laid out for your pleasure? With your privilege you might exert untold pain and countless hurt, gentrifying yet another cultural treasure. Can you tell me, have you ever heard of no? There's a hobo Balkan band in the backyard jam, playing songs they learned from old dance records. Do they care or even wonder about the folks from who they plunder, or those awful trials those people had to suffer? From a mass grave outside of Srebrenica, I heard niet. The Caucasian bluesman sat with dark glasses and a hat, 1,000 miles away from any delta. Said he'd come up from the south, a bogus accent in his mouth, but these northern folks don't care to know the difference. Seems that money can buy you out of no. Have you ever heard a no? They found no place you can't go. Is everything you find laid out for your leisure? With your privilege you might exert untold pain and countless hurt, gentrifying yet another cultural treasure. Have you no manners at all? That's about all I got to say about that. Thank you. Let's see. Where are we at? Oh, okay. Really? Yeah. Wow! Wow! We got through it. Just a, what's that? We fought it, yes. Everybody having okay? Okay. All right. So this is the record, right? So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to buy this record. It's very important that you do. I just bought a house and taxes went up. So here's the deal. Here's the thing about these records is that even if you don't have a CD player, if you've got fruit trees, I found if you hang these in the fruit tree, they'll scare away the birds. They're really good. And so if you like my music, please do buy a record. If you don't like my record, please buy the record and give it to someone you don't like. But please, dear God, buy the record. Special deal tonight. Everyone who buys the record gets a free problematic keychain. You know the one. Yeah. So so see us at the break there, and I'm very proud of that record. I'd like you to have it. If you're into the digital domain, you can of course download it. I can give you a link to do that. I'm gonna blaze out on some tunes here that are my own creation. Like when I was a kid back in Oklahoma, whenever they had like singing in the public schools, that meant gospel. So my understanding of Church of Christ gospel was pretty damn good. I can sing all the parts. I'm a pretty good shape note singer. And my favorite, by the way, is number 116. Are you going to be a saint on that shore, or a sinner left far behind? Are you going to do as Jesus commands? Public school, are you going to heaven sometime? Sometime. Are you going to heaven sometime? Hallelujah! See, that's how it is. That's what they taught in school. Look, I knew that before I knew my Aleph Beis. So the thing is that, you know, why do the goys have all the cool gospel? Why do they have all the cool gospel? Like, why shouldn't like little Jewish kids have fun, cool gospel? Fun, cool. Because, hey, just between us here, that summer camp music just leaves me flat. Can I say that out loud? I don't get a lot of work, by the way, because that's how I feel. He made my toe. We call that yummy. In the folk world, we call that yummy, strummy music, and it just leaves me flat. So I like cool, happening. So we wrapped up with Shabbos. So let's sing about Shabbos. Shabbos, it's cool, right? Yeah. We're so excited about Shabbos, right? So we go. A good Shabbos, gonna knock off work tonight. Yeah, good Shabbos, gonna light those candles bright. Good Shabbos, gonna rest up with my friends. Study Torah till the Sabbath ends. Good Shabbos, good Shabbos. The good Shabbos, gonna take out time and rest. Good Shabbos, so I can be my best. Good Shabbos, tonight the family dines, making blessings over the wine. Yeah, good Shabbos, yeah, good Shabbos. On Shabbos we open up the gates of hub wide. On Shabbos, do welcome the Sabbath bride on Shabbos. You best get down to shul, study up on the golden rule on Shabbos. This Shabbos, you know what we do? On Shabbos we unload our woes and cares. On Shabbos, join the congregation in prayer. On Shabbos, you best put that phone away. It can wait till another day. Yes, sir, on Shabbos. Yeah, Shabbos. Shabbos. Good Shabbos. My preaching now is from the book of Genesis. God said, Noah, build an ark. Gonna drown these wicked land. God said, Noah, build an ark. Drown every child and beast and man. God said, Noah, build an ark. From this place you must embark on some reason called an ark. Noah had him 3 grown sons, worked on the ark each every one. Noah had him 3 grown sons, worked day and night till it was done. With 3 sons was Noah blessed, 3 sons to join his quest, named Shem. Japheth. 2 by 2 they came on board, all across the distant land. 2 by 2 they came on board, from the deserts and the sands, jungles and sands actually. 2 by 2 they came on board, just to join his holy horde. 2 by 2 they came on board. 40 days, 40 nights, way out on the boiling sea. 40 days and 40 nights, no dry land could be seen. 40 days and 40 nights, to the promise he held tight. 40 days and 40 nights, and God gave Noah the rainbow sign. God gave Noah the rainbow sign. God gave Noah the rainbow sign. When you see it, put it well on your mind. When you see the rainbow sign, put it well upon your mind. It's a sign. It's a sign. It's a sign of love. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I have one more, but you got to help me with it. You got to help me with it. I tried my hand at Nusach, so once again, kind of leaning back on my nurture. One of the sounds that's really important in old-time country is something they call the high lonesome. And something that's really drawn me to the high lonesome sound, what a lot of those bluegrass musicians call the ancient tone, right, is that it strikes me a lot like the chazonis. It has a lot of the sound of like the deepest, oldest. I mean, sometimes I hear Kol Nidre in it. Sometimes it really resonates with me when I heard it. So I thought about how can I take Jewish prayer and express it in the high lonesome. So I'm going to need your help on this one here, if you'd be so kind. This is my last number. You can find it on my record, Triumph of Assimilation, along with these other ones. Thank you, dancers. Thank you to everyone. Thank you so much to the people who put this on, to Beth in particular, for who has Herculeanly put this together and has been begging me to do this for years. So thank you so much. Thank you for showing up as well. Hey, Zoom people, I know I haven't really paid attention to you all, but gosh, Zoom people, thanks so much. Thanks for staying safe out there, and sorry you can't be with us, but I love you all, and thanks. I can hear you clapping from here. So. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Vanenu Vanenu, Ki Hein Manu Mahasi, Hanei Manu Sadaka Vahesed, Hasei Manu Sadaka Vahesed, Hey Moshienu, Die, 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 die. Da 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 Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Vanenu Vanenu, Ki Emanu Mahasi, Hasei Manu Sadaka Vahesed, Hasei Manu Sadaka Vahesed, Hey Moshienu, Die, 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 die. Oh man, thank you so much. Appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. Another round of applause for Beth over here, Beth Cohen. Beth Cohen over here. All right, we're gonna have dancing. All right, so we're gonna have a little short change over here. We're gonna move some of the